Hi everybody, this is Juan. Welcome to my channel. I'm journalist based in London as UK correspondent for Spanish radio station and TV channel. So a couple of disclaimers here. English not my first language, so please bear that in mind and be nice. And for some time I've watched hundreds, if not thousands, of tutorials in YouTube, but I've done very little myself, so I have almost zero experience on this area. But I hope you find it at least interesting, if not helpful. What I'm going to show you is how to use the Talkback function in the Audient ID14, which is a great audio interface. I would say the best I've ever owned. Super clean preamps. How to use the Talkback function as a mute button, which the unit itself doesn't have. First, what a Talkback is. Normally, the sound engineer has a dedicated microphone, which is a Talkback microphone, to give instructions, indications to the talent, the voice actor, the singer, the musician, the broadcaster, and it does by a separate cue mix to avoid it getting to the main mix. So those instructions are going straight to the talent headphones. Now here we are going to do the opposite. We are getting this Talkback function to the main mix. Why? Imagine that you are live during a live stream, gaming session, recording a podcast, or as myself, live broadcasting for radio. And you have some cough, you want to clear your throat while everyone else is speaking, but you don't want it to be heard. You don't want it to go to the main mix. So you probably want to mute yourself, mute your microphone momentarily, so you can do it without it getting to the main mix, without it being heard. So let's jump into my screen and I'll show you in detail. Well, we are here in Logic Pro 10, and this is the Audient control panel where you can make all the adjustments you need to your monitor. Let me say, this is not a way to control your inputs by software. This is just a way to adjust your monitors. You can see at a glance just your analog inputs labeled in blue, digital inputs labeled in green. It could be 2 of them. It could be 4 depending on the sample rate you're working. And if you go under the System tab, you can select ADAT instead of SPDIF. So you can get up to 8 digital inputs. And here in pink, you can see your DAW returns. Now we're going to focus just on our analog inputs, so we can disable the DAW and the digital. And under the System tab again, we can assign a Talkback function to either input 1 or input 2, where the mic is. So we are going to select input 2, which is labeled with my surname. Now, you can see that the model changes a bit. It is now labeled in yellow. You can still use the 10 dB boost, phase invert, controls for your cue mix, but you're missing the panning knob for the main mix, the fader, the solo button, and the mute button for the channel. Now, when you set a Talkback, what you want to avoid is your voice getting to the main mix. That's why you set up a separate cue mix, so you can route your Talkback mic, Talkback channel to the phones
or the output monitors if you want. But what we are doing here is just the opposite. So we set both the main output and the phones with the main mix, not a separate Q mix or the DAW through. Now, if we click on this TB yellow square button, we can engage or disengage the talkback function. So it is now engaged. It is now getting my voice to the main mix. But as soon as I deselect it, if I click it again, you can now hear me again. Now, this is probably not the most convenient way to use it. In the middle of a gaming session, recording a podcast or live streaming, it would be much more useful if we use a dedicated button in the unit. So we are going to use a button which is the ID button. We can set up this here. By default, it would be on scroll control, which is, it has the same function that your mouse scroll. You can set mono, adjust mono and polarity, dim, and talkback. And now you can see, as soon as I select talkback, the button in the unit turns on in orange. This button works in the very same way that the volume knob or the knob encoder, the encoder knob. So if we press it, if we single press, it will mute the monitors until we single press it again. If we hold it down, it will mute the monitors until we release our finger. So this button is going to work in the same way. If we single press it, it is now mute. There's no information going to the main mix, but you can see that I'm speaking. If I single press it again, my voice comes back to the main mix and you can hear me again. If I hold it down, it will be muted while I'm pressing the button, so there's no information going to the main mix, but I'm speaking. As soon as I release my finger from the button, my voice is getting back again to the main mix. So that is a way to use the talkback function and the ID button on the Audient ID14 as a mute button for when you are live broadcasting during a live stream, gaming session, or whatever. And that's all. Quite easy. I hope you found it interesting or helpful. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below and I will try to answer it as soon as I can. Consider subscribing to my channel if you liked it. There might be a next video in the future. There might be not. I don't know. Thank you very much. Goodbye.